I'm David with Van Life Midlife. This week, I'm headed down south to the Smoky Mountains. I'll sleep in my van by the side of the highway, pitch a tent, hike into the clouds, make some meals, and make some memories. So come with me as I spend a week in the Smokies. I'm headed off to discover one of the falls in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. But first, let me tell you how I got here. Tonight, I'm cooking up some chicken tortellini soup. We're actually going to cook this while running down the road. So I'm going to get my first set of ingredients here in the Instapot and show you how I do that. I'm going to start with just some canned chicken broth. I call this cooking for one on the road. Next we have some celery, carrots, and spices that I chopped up earlier. I'm going to throw the lid on the Instapot. And I'm actually going to turn on the inverter, plug the Instapot in, set it down on the floor, and let this cook up for about the next hour, just on a low setting. We're going to add our chicken and our tortellini. Oh man, check that out. I got about 175 miles down the road and I'm tired, so I'm going to bed down here for the night at this rest area. That's the nice thing about the van, is wherever you go, you're home. So I'm going to turn it in here for tonight, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow when we ease back on down the road. Good morning. I got up a while ago and slid into the driver's seat and headed down the road. I stopped for some gas and some breakfast, and this morning we're gonna have some granola and a banana while we keep driving. Well, I had my first casualty of the trip. In a complete brain fart, I left my coffee press sitting on the counter. It had been actually sitting up there for probably 60 miles through these winding, twisty hills, and the darn thing fell off the counter and smashed when it hit the floor. Not terribly surprising. I was able to pick up the big pieces, but there's all these little shards and I don't really want to use my fingers to pick them up, so I am going to detour to a car wash to see if I can find a vacuum to vacuum up all the little pieces. I do walk around in here barefoot and I really don't want to cut my feet. That would be bad, as I have a lot of hiking planned. As tragedies go, that wasn't a bad one. My only thing is now, what do I do for coffee? I'm trying to stay completely self-contained for this trip. I'm trying not to go into any gas stations. There's going to be mornings where I wake up and I'm actually out in the boonies, so a gas station's not an option for coffee anyway. Now that I don't have my French press, I guess my options are no coffee, which, come on, let's face it, that's not really an option. Or some cowboy coffee, which is probably what's going to be happening from here on out. I made it to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and I have enough daylight left to hike up the Laurel Falls Trail. I think the ranger said there's supposed to be 2,500 or 3,000 feet of elevation gain on this particular trail. And now that I'm a good distance up above the falls, it seems to be getting a little steeper. And I can also tell I haven't been doing my cardio. Something I'll have to get back into once my little jaunt is over here. All right, I'm gonna put you guys away, try and make it up to the top of this mountain so I can see what the view is. Man, oh man, it just keeps going up, up and up and up. It's 2:39. Sunset here is about 5:15 p.m. I checked before I left. It seems like I'm getting near the top, but I'm going to set myself a hard turnaround time of 3 p.m. That'll give me 2 hours and 15 minutes to hike back down and get back to the van before sunset. I did bring a sweater. I did bring a flashlight just in case. I also brought lunch, which I'm not really hungry for yet because I haven't done much but sit on my butt and drive today. And I have 25 ounces of water. So I'm not worried about any of that. But I don't want to be out here in the dark, twist an ankle, and not be able to get back down. That would be bad. But the sun's coming out now, and I'm also treated to this absolutely gorgeous view. Well, I think we're going to call this the top. It's 2:56, and I set myself a hard turnaround time of 3 o'clock. I've got 1.8 miles to get back down to the falls, and then it's probably another 1.5 miles from the falls back down to the car. That'll make this a nice, roughly 6 miles hike. That's good enough for today, because tomorrow the real hiking begins. And we're off. I just got back down to the bottom of the hiking trail and checked the mileage. I ended up doing about 6.5 miles round trip, which wasn't too bad, but not even half the distance I plan on doing tomorrow. My next item of business is to get back to the van and have a bite to eat, because now I'm finally hungry. Hey, I wanted to show you guys a couple things that I found along the trail. So, first two things are a Kleenex and a sanitation wrapper or something. I don't know what that is. which, you know, fine, maybe those fell out of your pocket, but the last thing I found is a bag with a dirty diaper in it. Now, why are you going to leave that on the trail? That's just disgusting. If you're out in nature, don't be that person. Really, there is absolutely no reason to leave a bag with a dirty diaper in it on a nature trail. Just don't do that. Have a little respect for other people. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. After my hike to Laurel Falls and a late lunch, it was time for me to head over to the trailhead where I would spend the night in the van before my backpacking adventure the next day. But I couldn't resist stopping to capture some footage of the beautiful Smoky Mountains. Thanks so much for coming along as I drove down to Tennessee and hiked the Laurel Falls Trail. Be sure and join me next time when I head out for a night of backpacking. I'll use a bear line, do some cooking, and look for the North Carolina-Tennessee border. Thanks again, and see you soon.